Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So what is happening today on this beautiful Friday? We got a big jobs report to talk about and key levels for Bitcoin as big money rotates. Where is it rotating to? Well, let's talk about it. All right, and let's have a good Q&A because it is Friday. Let's have a good old time today, guys. All right, let's get started. Welcome. We are starting out a day right around $90,000, slightly lower than last night. I think today because we have a couple big things to digest. The first one came out already. The second one still not out, and we don't know for sure if it's going to be out. But the first thing is jobs. Jobs report came out today, okay? So this is kind of mixed, meaning the number of jobs added in December came in lower, slightly lower than expected. However, unemployment also falls. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Overall for the economy, it shows that the economy is still strong, the U.S. economy that is. Unemployment fell 0.1%, still pretty elevated at 4.4%, but still it fell down a little bit. Payroll, the number of new jobs added, slightly lower than expected, but overall, there's still jobs. It's not like at zero and unemployment isn't going up. So as the economy, we're doing so-so. Not the greatest, not the worst, so-so. But because of this, our chance of a rate cut this month has dropped even more. Now it's down to 5%. So basically, what we were hoping for, really bad data, did not come, and that's okay. That basically rules out the possibility of a rate cut this month. However, that doesn't mean it's all that bad, okay? Because this is showing, some strength in our economy. If our economy was truly collapsing, like if somehow the numbers were horrible, like that was a negative number and unemployment ballooned up to like 5%, I mean, yeah, it'll increase the chance of a rate cut, but it ultimately that means we're in a really dire situation. So, it's kind of a mixed bag. But overall, I think Wall Street probably would prefer if we had better chances for more rate cuts coming up. But outside of this, we still have the Supreme Court ruling that did not come out, and I don't know if that's going to come out. Supposedly they're going to convene today and a decision could be made, but it doesn't mean it has to be today. And the ruling is whether or not the tariffs are here to stay, whether they're legal or illegal, and if they're legal, what happens to the fees? Do we have to pay them back or what? Or keep partial payments or, whatever it is. So that's also coming supposedly today, and that would be huge too. So got that to look forward to. What else on a geopolitical front? I mean, there's a lot of Trump headlines right now. Trump suggests U.S. military will hit cartels on land in Mexico. So this, of course, comes on the heels of taking over Venezuela and trying to buy Greenland. And there's talks about taking military action in Cuba, Colombia, and now Mexico. Whether those countries like it or not, Trump is suggesting that the U.S. is just going to go in and fix things because he's tired of waiting for them to fix things. That's an interesting perspective. We're not going to take them over, or maybe we are, but we're just going to go in and be world police and do what we need to do, and they're just going to let us do it. I don't know how Mexico will take it. I don't know how they're going to take it. Well, maybe they just have to take it because there's nothing they can do. Same thing with Colombia. Same thing with Cuba. We'll see. We'll see if Trump actually moves on these. I don't know if they're called threats, but they're statements. Yeah, we gotta digest that a little bit. And also, Trump is going to meet with oil executives at the White House. And guess what? He's going to tell all these guys, CEOs of Exxon, ConocoPhillips, Shell, Chevron, to go start drilling, start development get those drills up. It's going to take a lot of billions to get it back. But according to this, Venezuela holds 17% of the world's oil reserves just in one country. But the infrastructure is bad. So Trump is going to tell all these American companies to go and start drilling and digging. And it's going to benefit us greatly. Yeah, that's it. It has nothing to do with crypto. I just think it's interesting. That's all. That's all. This is related to crypto, though. Nasdaq and CME Group are now collaborating on a new crypto index. Most of us in crypto, we rely on like CMC or CoinGecko. But, like these big American exchanges like Nasdaq, CME, New York Stock Exchange, they don't really have a crypto index. And I don't think they really want to trust CMC. Sometimes the price goes bad. We have seen that before, and that would be disastrous for them, especially since they offer a lot of derivative products and stuff like that. So they're coming out with a new crypto index, one of their own for institutional investors. That's good. It's part of the maturity process for crypto, right? Which is really good. As for ETFs, yesterday, unfortunately, was still a negative day. Pretty negative yesterday. Even BlackRock sold minus 400 million yesterday for Bitcoin, minus 159 million for ETH. XRP got a positive inflow of almost 9 million, and Solana had a big inflow day, almost 14 million yesterday. It seems like XRP and Sol is positive like every single day. It's adding a little bit. But right now, Bitcoin and ETH, you have these flip-flop days. One day is really good, another day is really bad, good, bad. It just shows Wall Street is still very indecisive, just like retail investors. Based on data, based on, I don't know, whatever's happening geopolitically, economically, they're just going to sell or buy, sell and buy. It's kind of like retail. Unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. Not everyone's like that, but a lot of people are like that. That's why these ETFs tend to flip-flop all the time. However, we are in 2026, and there are a lot of great things happening, like I've been showing you guys, okay? And I'm not the only one that agrees. There are a lot of people, a lot of analysts that say that a rally is back on the table and is going to happen in this year. There's a lot of data. Like this article talks about, well, leverage ratios normalizing, which is good. You don't have a huge ratio of longs, probably because of all the liquidations, right? Selling has dissipated. Balance sheet for the Fed is starting to go up. And I'll get to more of this. This is basically quantitative easing. Whenever quantitative easing happens, that's really good for risk-on assets like Bitcoin and crypto. Bitfinex longs are dropping. That's usually really good. You could see, because usually these Bitfinex whales load up the longs when we start going down, right? And then they usually pull on their shorts once Bitcoin starts going up. So it happened many times. So, I mean, there's a lot of data that shows that the rally is coming, but there's more than this. I mean, the rotation. We know gold is sky high right now. Okay, same deal with silver. But just a small little rotation, because we know people love to FOMO. Wall Street loves to FOMO. Just a small rotation out of gold into Bitcoin. 5% rotation, according to Bitwise, would send Bitcoin to about $250,000 already. That's just a small little rotation. And that's something that we have seen before. Gold and Bitcoin, they tend to move in the same path, but right now is the largest gap between gold's price or gold's movement and Bitcoin's movement. And gold tends to stall when it's at very top, and then Bitcoin tends to, recover. And that could be this year, 2026. I think it is going to be this year. That recovery is going to be huge. So I'm waiting for that. But in the meantime, the rotation also applies to these giant whales and sharks. We have seen accumulation addresses. They have been skyrocketing, but also now with leverage. This giant whale from back in the day, Satoshi era, who opened all these shorts a few months ago, now have opened up all his longs on Bitcoin and 3 other alts, ETH, Sol, and XRP. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars put into longs. Don't know why this whale all of a sudden went from holder to a trader now, a leverage trader, but they're doing it. Not to say that this giant whale has a magic 8-ball, but maybe he does, or maybe he has some inside information. Who knows? Who knows? South Korea is also going to allow Bitcoin ETFs to launch in 2026, which is really good. South Korea is one of the top 3 nations for crypto. Their exchanges moves markets. Whenever there's a coin listing in one of the major exchanges in South Korea, like it balloons up. People in South Korea love crypto, love trading, huge volume, and allowing Bitcoin ETFs is going to be a big thing. That's also happening this year. Good stuff. Good stuff. Another rotation is this business cycle. Business cycle we know has stalled for a few years now because of high rates. But that's about to change in 2026. We are going to have more cuts, maybe not one this month, but we are going to have more cuts. We're going to have more quantitative easing. Trump just talked about buying $200 billion worth of mortgage bonds. Okay, that's part of it. So this is all part of the improving business cycle. And when the business cycle improves, that's when Bitcoin really shines. You could argue this 4-year cycle, this phenomenon that we see with the four-year cycle, how we always tend to go up the final year and a half, it's actually all coordinated with the business cycle. So that could be the true reason why we see these huge, enormous moves for Bitcoin. Before it was just like based on faith. Like people are just like, okay, it's going to happen, right? Is it really retail FOMO, or was there more to it and we just didn't have the data? Now we do. I think it is right. And so many others thinking that business cycle will improve in 2026. That's when Bitcoin really shines. Even though we did have a pretty good year in 2025, 2026 could be even better. And I talked about quantitative easing. That's about to happen too. When quantitative easing happens, that's when the business cycle improves. And that's when everything goes up. Risk on assets like crypto, tech, and so forth. The money rotation is going to happen pretty soon. Pretty soon. This has really nothing to do with anything, but this talks about Kalshi's volume. In case you're not aware, Kalshi is a prediction marketplace. It came out of nowhere, it seems like, because everyone talks about Polymarket, but now you have Kalshi, and they average $272 million a day in volume. Per day. $250 million of volume per day. That's how crazy prediction markets are. It's insane. It's insane. I can't imagine once ClashPicks comes out how much volume we're going to get. It's going to be enormous. So this is my tie-in to let you guys know ClashPicks is on the verge of coming out. Okay, my own prediction marketplace. And this, I think, is good. It's going to be huge, as Trump would say, huge, enormously huge, because it's so much easier. And we're going to get other creators to get involved. And we're going to have a free-to-play model. That's why I want to share with you guys, because we're going to have a model that's free to play, free to predict, but has real value. Real value. And what is that? What do I mean by that? Because obviously the system is going to collect fees. Okay. We're going to collect fees. That's how we're going to survive, how we're going to boost our treasury, how Clash is going to benefit. But people that are playing with the free to predict currency called P-Clash, which you could redeem every week for free, we will have a leaderboard like this. This is in private beta right now. We have top 3 over here. We're going to have top 5. And the top 5 will share a percentage of the fees that we collect from the platform, okay, in its entirety. So there's real value for actually using P-Clash to make predictions and actually doing well. Imagine, I mean, I just got done talking with Kalshi, making 272 million volume per day. Even getting a 0.1% of that, or 1% of that, you do the math, how much you could be making just by getting a little percentage of the fees. And that is what I'm going to implement with our leaderboard system. And it's going to be revolutionary. It's going to be game changing. Just want to let you guys know. I'm super, super excited about ClashPicks. All right. Outside of that, also we have a big tournament today. If you are a Clash Royale player or you're not and you just want to spectate our tournaments, we have one tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the experts, for people that have more than 10,000 trophies and have played ranked. Just so you guys know, it's going to be a good old time. We had a pro tournament on Wednesday. We're going to have an expert tournament today. And then we'll have a pro one next week again, and then an amateur one for all you newbies out there. All right, that's it. Let's see. The U.S. market starting to get weaker. Dow, Nasdaq, S&P, anything. Robinhood is up today. MicroStrategy had a good day yesterday. Now not having a good day. Coinbase not having a good day. Chevron, of course, is having a good day because of the oil stuff. All right. And Clash is having a good day. 36 million. Let's do some Q&A. Dylan, you can't convert P-Clash. P-Clash cannot be converted. It's given out and removed every single week. It's not a new crypto. It's just a virtual currency. It's free to play and it's given out. But Clash is not given out. There's a big difference. Van Crow says, sounds more like addiction markets. People love to gamble, okay? That's why casinos are always filled. People love to gamble, but prediction markets is not gambling. You know why it's not gambling? Because it's more skill-based. There are some people that are really good at analyzing data. It's just like chart reading. People are really good at analyzing data, and they're able to make predictions based on it. That's why it's called prediction markets. It's almost like a market. You have to analyze the data, and the data makes things move really quickly. But you know, people love to wager. People love to make money. That's why prediction markets are blowing up. $272 million of volume per day. That's insane. That's insane. You do the math on 365, what is that? Tens of billions of dollars of volume? That's why I'm so excited about ClashPicks. I'm going to start talking to all the big creators out there, see if they want to run their own prediction events, and I'll cut them in on fees. I think they're going to like it. They're going to bring their audience in. That's going to be our big part of our marketing. And then now that P-Clash has real value, even though it's free and given out, people who do well can actually earn a portion of the fees, the weekly fees. That's going to be huge. That could end up being thousands or tens of thousands eventually per week. Super, super excited about it, guys. Another Russian oil tanker seized. Yep. Yep. It's all about oil, guys. I know people say, you know, this could be national security. It's really about oil. And this also puts a lot of pressure on Russia because supposedly Russia sells a lot of their oil through Venezuela. They kind of hide it, mingle it, but now they can't do that anymore. So this could force Putin to end the war faster, which I thought they were going to. I thought they came to agreement. They're still not doing it. But it's kind of interesting. If Trump is really going to just do what he wants, use military action in the countries that maybe, you know, sell drugs or bring drugs over the border, or just, I don't know, dictators or whatever, and he just goes and does it. This sets a precedence for other world leaders, right? They may just start doing the same thing. I don't know. In some ways, you're like, okay, this is a good idea. We've been waiting for those cartels to be taken out or to be stopped for so long. Why hasn't Mexico done it? But in other ways, like, really, you could just take military action on foreign soil and not and just do it and be okay. You know, I don't know. There's good and bad, right? It's like you going to your neighbor's house and just doing something. I don't know. Something, what's a good analogy? I don't know. Let's say a neighbor's tree is coming over the fence and towards your house, and it drops a lot of leaves or fruits or whatever that you don't want, and you keep telling them to cut it and they won't cut it, so you just go into their yard and just cut it down. You know, it's kind of like that at a lesser extent. Michael says, I bought Bitcoin in 2015 for $640. Congrats. You have done very well. Performance fuel injection. I do that all the time. I mean, technically, it makes sense, right? You don't want their trees to be in your yard, but you can't really do that. They could call the cops on you because you're going on their property, right? It's kind of like this. Like, you would figure Mexico will welcome the U.S. if they really can't handle the cartel situation. They're like, we're trying and we can't do anything about it. Then you would figure then this would be a good thing. It's like, hey, come on in, U.S., solve our cartel problem. You would figure it will be like that, right? But of course, there's repercussions for that. You're going to have U.S. military everywhere. David has an interesting analogy. Or a gang. Okay, let's say not a gang. Let's say robbers. Let's say people who rob the neighborhood or your house all the time and staying in the land of your neighbor. And you tell your neighbor to go get rid of that guy or gang of robbers. And he says he's doing something about it, but he's not. So now you're fed up. And you plan on going into your neighbor's yard to arrest them or do something to them without your neighbor's permission. It's kind of like that. If that's a true motive. I don't know if that's a true motive here, right? I don't know. I'm just making shit up right now. I have no idea. It's kind of like that, if that's a real world scenario. I mean, it could be like your neighbor's yard, not just like a normal single family home yard. It could be like, your neighbor has like 10 acres and he doesn't even know where they are. Maybe it's in Montana. So your neighbor's land is like 10 acres or 100 acres and you have to hunt them down in a forest. It could be like that, where you really don't have permission to do so, but you need to do it. Kind of like that. You ever play that game Risk? I used to love that game. Play that for. And then what's better than Risk is Axis and Allies. Axis and Allies is so much more sophisticated, and it could go forever. Um, but I stopped playing. Yeah, my kids never got into board games, so don't play with them. These days it's like it's impossible to play board games. I feel like even Monopoly. I used to love Monopoly. Now you can't pay me to play Monopoly. It's so boring. That's what digital phones and TikTok would do to you. You just want instant gratification. Mariana Bala, I'm just waiting to get out of Blanc. What you should get into is Clash. As you guys can see, I'm putting all my efforts into Clash. I'm trying to grow it to $1 billion. Okay? And our tournaments and ClashPicks especially, I think it's going to get us there when the market turns around. So I'm hoping you guys don't ignore, don't fade it, because once we get to $1 billion, I know the audience is going to be like, why didn't you tell us about Clash sooner? I should have listened. You should have hammered on the fact that we should have gotten Clash. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you guys that I'm working on it very hard. I don't want you guys to have regret once we get there. Grok says buy Cardano at midnight. I don't think Grok actually told you that. Yeah, if you guys want to be part of the Clash community, join our Discord. We got thousands of people in there. A lot of regulars, but a lot of people just randomly chiming in also. Join our Discord. But for those of you guys that just want to be part of a community, even outside of Clash, if you just want to talk to others about what's going on with the economy, with crypto, obviously, with trading, with anything really, join our Discord as well. It's not just for Clash, it's for everything. I just kind of combine everything into one. Silver is back up to almost $80. Gold is almost back up to 4,500. Man, just imagine just a little rotation out of those. Okay, of gold and silver, a little rotation out and into Bitcoin cause it to go up to 200, 250, $300,000. Easy, easy. Right now, people are holding on to them and buying more because they've been so steady. Not only steady, but they've been gaining so much. Right? It's hard to ignore. People that told me about silver in the 30s, they were right. They're like, look at 30s. I remember people saying, well, look at silver. It just broke 30. And then people were like, hey, it just broke 50. Now it's breaking 80. It's hard to, and that's all within 1 year. It's hard to ignore. That's why a lot of people that probably would have put that money into Bitcoin didn't. they're leaving into silver and gold, but eventually they're going to top out. They always do. And then the rotation comes out, and that's when it goes into something like Bitcoin. A lot of people are saying silver will go to 100. At this point, why not? It may double. It may go to 120, 140s. Because silver is used in many practical applications, not just as store of value, especially electronics, data centers, with the explosion, chips, memory chips, just semiconductors, anything. Silver is widely used. So I could see why silver is going up so much, even more so than gold. But nothing's going up as much as Clash. Where do you think XRP will go this year? Well, XRP broke through its previous high last year. Went up to about 380 something. If we have a good year, Bitcoin comes back strong, breaks all-time high, heads to 150, 180 this year. XRP certainly could break its previous high. It could go past $4. People FOMO. People love to FOMO. Look at this, okay? Look at this FOMO right here from $2 all the way up to like $4. That was within just a month. Within a month, we could shoot to $4. Easy. Okay, but there's a lot of people that are sitting on the sidelines. They're waiting for confirmation. They don't want to buy right now. They're afraid we're going to go lower. But FOMO, when it hits hard. And it applies to everyone, even Wall Street. That's when the ETFs turn very positive. So, I think XRP can surpass its previous high. Go well above $4 if the market turns around. Everything's dependent really on Bitcoin. That hasn't changed. Yeah, it's not going to hit $589. It would be like over 100 trillion market cap or something like that. It would be insane. It won't happen. Can it go to $58? Even that's insane. There's a small chance of that, but $589, there's no chance of that. Especially now also, Ripple has their RLUSD. And they're getting all the institutions to use that instead. The previous 589 prediction was when all the financial institutions around the world all use it and then causes it to go up. But now they're all going to use the stablecoin. Financial institutions are not going to be using XRP for cross-border payments. They're going to be using their RLUSD. So that throws that out the window. Any oil tanker that's leaving Venezuela is going to be seized, and we're going to take it. They're going to direct it directly to Washington, or wherever they direct their oil to. By the way, speaking of oil, the show Landman on Paramount Plus, it's all about oil. It's an awesome show. Some parts are slow, but it's a really good, wholesome show. In case you guys are looking for a good show to watch. Another show I started watching is an old show. It's already ended. Upload on Amazon Plus. No, it's just Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime, not Amazon Plus. it's a quirky show for a younger generation, but it shows realistically what can happen in the future if everyone just upload themselves into a computer, into a digital heaven, so to speak. But there's still caveats for that. It's interesting. I kind of like it. It's again, it's for like, it's a quirky younger generation show, but whatever. At least it's something that passes the time. I already watched all the Black Mirrors. The first few seasons were great. The last few seasons, not so much. Got really weird. The one with the video games, that was really bad. And then all the other ones afterwards, all the recent seasons have not been good. The writers ran out of ideas. Is Clash the only video game you can play? Yes. I play it too much because I feel like I need to get better. I play Clash Royale like hours every day. I have been getting better, but the game makes you feel like you're not getting better because you're always playing people that are better than you. It makes you rage so hard. So you always feel like you're not getting better at all. But I know my skills are getting better because when I play lower trophy people, like I destroy them. So I know I'm getting better, but I'm still so far off from pro level. And I'm not even considered expert level, but you know, based on my criteria, I have to play in the expert level. I should really play in the amateur level. But anyways, I'll probably play in both. And speaking of which, we do have a tournament tonight. Even if you guys don't play the game, you can watch me play and spectate and win some prizes, like soul prizes, just by watching. But you got to hold some Clash. That's the only caveat. Or you could just watch for free and have a good time. So that's tonight on my other channel. George plays Clash Royale. And that's the project name too. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it. Today looks like it's not shaping to be a good day because the jobs report wasn't bad. But you know what? Maybe we get something with this that could turn things around. Overall, though, there's still a lot of great things happening with Bitcoin and crypto. You guys know that. That's why you're here watching me. There are a lot of great things. You may not believe it because the price action kind of sucks, but this is all part of the growing process, the maturity process. We go through these downturns. This is how you weed out the lettuce hands, the weak hands. The strong survives. Those that hold on DCA, they're going to end up winning. Those that panic sell, not so much. All right? Stay strong, guys. I'll hopefully see most of you guys tonight during our tournament. Have a good Friday and have a good weekend. All right? Take care.